welcome back to another mini performance video. Today is engine building day and I'm in the mini performance engineering engine building room. Basically it's just a room, spare room that's absolutely crammed full of engines and crap everywhere. To demonstrate, see that engine over, where's it at? That one there, that's a 1293 turbo engine. Which I'm rebuilding. I did some work on it last night and I thought, oh, I'll check the pistons, make sure I've got it at top dead centre. And of course there's no pistons in it because the rods, if I turn it round, the rods are still attached to the old pistons and crank in that engine, and the pistons are in a box in the bottom of that box. So I was like, oh my god, what am I doing here? So today I'm hoping to get this red engine finished. That is a 1380 8-port engine, 5-speed box on the bottom of it. It's my brother's engine. And what we're going to do is, there's a new timing chain to go on. At the other end there's a new oil pump, which is the main reason we stripped it, because it was losing oil pressure. And it turned out it had one of the original Spider Drive oil pumps, not one of the later ones. It's also getting a new primary gear on there because the existing one was badly worn, and it's not just easy to get a fresh one put on or to get fresh bushes put into the existing primary gear. The rearmost bush, which is the ones at this end, is straight fix, it's a floating design, but the one that goes on that end of the crank, or that end of the primary gear, has to be resized, which I can't do at home. So that's why I'm not doing that one. I've just bought a complete replacement one and hoping it's going to fit alright, but we'll see. Yeah, it's getting a new water pump, clean off the head face. It's had a couple of coats of paint. Going to get some more. Yeah, it was already red, which wasn't too bad, it just chipped in a few places. It's getting one of the DSN filter heads, the one that used to be on Bumblebee, so they can run the oil temperature sender in there, and then remove the one that's in the gearbox plug because it's knackered. And then I've got one of the heavy duty gold plugs to go in this time, because these are the absolute best for magnetic quality, which I've proved before in another video. If I remember, I'll try and put a link to that. So that's all the parts there, waiting to go on that motor. Kinetic head gasket for the 1380, and obviously for the 8-port head, so it doesn't have the fire rings that eat into the 8-port heads. There's the oil pump, timing chain, water pump, filter heads in there, and then the primary gear there, and the magnetic sump plug just up there. If I can stop it from focusing on my finger. So that's the plan for this morning. I've also got to do this. See, this is the absolute shite that's piled on my engine building bench. That is the head gasket for that turbo motor that's behind me. And then this, if I turn it around so I can see what I'm doing, this is the timing cover for Christopher's 8-port engine. And I'm going to cut off this attachment here, which was used, I think, for some sort of timing attachment back in the Rover days, because there's some damage to the cover here where looks as though it's been re-welded there, but I don't remember doing that. And it's been catching on the timing chain on the inside. So what I'm going to do is cut this off and then hammer that flat so it doesn't catch anymore, and then make sure it's sealed alright. Whether it needs, I'll dab a weld on the top of there after I've hammered it flat enough, but we'll see. Okay then, that's that done. You've seen me cut the main piece of the bracket off with the angle grinder. I then got a grinding wheel and took the bits that were left either side off where it was spot welded on, and then a flap wheel to clean it up a little bit more. And then after that I'd turn it upside down and put it in on the vise and basically massaged it with a big hammer and some bits of bolt and stuff to get the bump out that was on the underside there. So that's gone now, so that should clear the timing chain perfectly well. I can't remember if I'm supposed to do that and I just forgot about getting rid of that bump this time. I can't remember, it's such a long time since I built this engine. So yeah, so next job is just to give it all a coat of paint. I rubbed it down, it'll be good enough for what it is, and then just got to wait for it to dry after 2 or 3 coats before it can go back on the engine. But in the meantime I've obviously got all the timing chain and that to change out. Right, onto the engine rebuild at this end. What I'm going to do this afternoon is I'm going to put the new primary gear on and the new oil pump, and then obviously the whole end casing needs to go on as well. I thought I'd quickly just show you the different parts. So here we have the original oil pump that came out, obviously quite an old design, and then here's the new one from Minispares. You can see the front face there is totally different and it's got a flat back on it, so that's totally different design, probably newer, updated, etc. And for anybody that doesn't understand what they're on about when talking about star drive cams, so there's the star drive cam, so that's the LAL adapter that goes inside the cam, inside those 3 lobes there, and fits on the end of the water pump. So I'll just put it back in there so I don't lose it since I keep dropping it on the floor. And then obviously the new primary gear is going to go on there, and I'll show you the difference between the old one and the new one. So this is the old one, and if I can hold it there like that, you can see the, well, you can't really see it that well, but there's plate in there because the bush that's in there is worn, and that's caused this bush inside there. There's the brass bush, and you can see it's worn away, and it's enabled the gear to rock like that, and because it's rocked like that, it's worn it away in there, more at the front edge and at the back you can see, because obviously the way it's wobbling like that on the end of the crank. And then here's the new one, Minispares Evolution 23 teeth, the same as the one that came off. It is slightly different in that these teeth here are wider than they are on the old one, but that just slides on there lovely, and there's just like fractional amounts of play in that. It's just sweet as a nut, that basically. So what I'll have to do is put the spacer parts, the C washer and that back on here, and then check the camshaft, check the primary gear end float by putting a bolt on there and checking it. So I'll do that next. Right, I'm going to make that do for this video. I had a look at the raw footage last night and it's 45 minutes long, so I don't think I can really justify subjecting you to that amount of slow-mo footage, so I'll probably shrink it down as much as I can when I edit it, put in some speeded up stuff or whatever the hell it's called. I can't remember, the name escapes me for the moment. Time lapse, that's it. I'll stick in some time lapse. Yeah, so next job will be just to do that timing chain end, but in the meantime I've had a bit of a disaster with the painting that I did of the pulley, the bolt, the timing cover and the block itself, in that the paint that I used off the shelf there, it's gone manky and it won't dry, so I've had to basically take the entire cover back to bare metal. This part was alright because I managed to get all the top layer off it, all the goopy paint, but on the rest of it the soft paint on the top had affected the paint underneath, so basically I had to scrape it all off. So I'm going to have to try and do the same with the block as well. Now one of the ways I got the paint off was just use thinners and then just rub it off, but it's a slow, painful job. And it says to use the thinners in a well ventilated environment, not in here. So that'll be me for now. Hopefully you should see this on Boxing Day. So all that remains is to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I might try and get a video out before New Year with like a recap on the year that's gone by, or a project status or something like that. I'm not entirely sure yet. It just depends how much of a chocolate coma I'm in between now and then. So in the meantime, that's it for now, and I'll see you on the next one.